Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show that shall not be named. Today I was struggling to come up with an idea, so I decided to do something that I might have drawn in the back of my binder or in the back of a textbook in middle school. I decided to draw a skull with some mushrooms growing out of it. It's very middle school type of stuff. At least for me, that's the kind of stuff I would draw back then. I used to think it was super cool. I mean, I still think it's pretty cool, but especially the mushrooms. I loved drawing mushrooms back in middle school. Yeah, so here I'm starting with a pencil sketch, just sketching out the skull here. It's very stylized. I'm trying to make it look like it's kind of stuck in a mound of dirt or something. And I'm giving it very exaggerated features, almost like Pushead. If you're not familiar with him, he did a lot of art for the band Metallica, I think. At least a couple album covers for them, or t-shirt designs, or whatever. But yeah, he always drew these like exaggerated skulls, and a lot of times they would have eyeballs in them and stuff, but I decided not to draw eyeballs in it this time. Just empty sockets. And then, yeah, here I'm drawing the mushrooms on top. I went with some kind of toadstool style mushrooms eventually. A bunch of little tendrils, and I decided to kind of give the whole thing a porous texture to make it look like it was almost like blanketed in fungus, I guess was the idea. And there's the sketch. Here I'm giving it a light erase and starting with the pen. And I'm going through and doing little sections of line work and then sections of hatching. Most of this is single pass hatching through the drawing. I do a small amount of cross-hatching to emphasize some parts later on, but I kept it to a minimum. Mostly just single pass hatching. You can see here that nose section is very exaggerated. It just sticks straight out. Here I'm lining in the teeth and adding in some hatching to give them some contour and shape. Give the kind of mandible area a little bit of depth. And then, yeah, that whole eye socket there is just ragged. I was just having fun with it. I honestly wasn't even sure I was going to upload this one through most of the drawing, and then I kind of stepped back at the end and looked at it, and I was like, that's actually kind of cool. Maybe I will upload it. I'm glad I recorded the whole thing. I'm just coming through with more hatching and contour lines. Getting kind of the dirt kind of melding into the bottom jaw there. The symmetry got a little funky between the two cheekbones there, but which I didn't really intend to do it that way. I think I forgot a line on the left there. But I don't think it really matters because it's so like stylized, and then also it's like, stuck in a mound of dirt. You can still tell it's a skull, even if it is a little wonky. I kind of made the bottom jaw unhinged a little bit there. And yeah, I'm kind of coming through doing hatching all through the bottom here to kind of build up that mound of dirt that it's buried in. Adding some extra little twigs or whatever in the same shape as the jawbone there. Just like a stylistic choice, I guess. Yeah, and then here I'm starting to draw some of those holes and pits and stuff in there, and then a little bit of hatching around the eye socket. And yeah, I'm just alternating between hatching, stippling, lining out the little tendrils, lining out the holes. I'm just slowly working my way up. I ended up doing quite a bit of stippling in this. The holes didn't leave me a lot of room for hatching. So there's a lot of little bits of stippling kind of around the holes. It kind of adds to that spongy texture, having the stippling. It makes it look like there's a bunch of little tiny holes around the larger holes. And yeah, here I was trying to kind of sort out what I was going to do with the top edge. And I had the idea to put some silhouette sort of tendrils in the background. I think this is where I had that idea. Yeah, there it is. And I'll go through the whole background once I'm done. Well, once I've got everything kind of worked out, I'll go through the whole background and do a bunch of those. Those just blacked out little tendrils. Gives it a lot of depth and texture. And I'm coming through, adding more holes. What's that phobia? There's like a phobia of holes. I have no idea what it's called, but hopefully nobody watching has that. Hole phobia. Let me know in the comments if you know what it's called. I wonder if are people who have that phobia afraid of Swiss cheese? Does that weird them out? Here I'm coming through, and there's a little portion where part of the bone is sticking out there. I'm just lining that in, and then more holes and tendrils all around it. And then yeah, here I'm going to come through and line out the mushrooms a little bit. Get those little frills right where the stem meets the underside of the cap. Adding some lumps, some bumps. These are the gills, I guess. That's where the spores come out. This kind of ended up reminding me of that show, The Last of Us, or the video game. Whatever. I don't think I've ever played the video game. I watched the show, though. It was pretty good. But the zombies in that are infected by mushroom or a fungus. I forget what it's called. I looked it up earlier. It's like, it starts with a C. I can't remember it. Oh, well. But yeah, it ended up reminding me of that a little bit. I guess because it's a mushroom growing out of a dead person. Here I'm just coming through adding some hatching and shadowing underneath the caps here. It's one of the areas I end up emphasizing with some cross-hatching later. And yeah, I'm drawing in a little kind of partially formed mushroom there, and then more tendrils. Hatching them as I go along. And adding in some little tendrils. I decided to add the little kind of bubbles coming off the tips there. Like, I guess I was imagining they were spores or something. I don't know. Adding some more holes. Hatching underneath the cheekbone kind of area there. And then around all the little holes. The whole texture got a little weird over here, but I ended up just working with it a little bit. I think I just kind of got confused for a minute, and then I came back and fixed it later. When you get, you know, so many little tiny details, it's easy to kind of get lost. I think I took a break and came back. I edit all the breaks out so you can't tell. And then, yeah, just hatching through all the little tendrils here. Coming through and just fine-tuning everything. Yeah, and then here I'm adding those like little silhouette tendrils in the background. And the little spore dots coming off the end there. Adding some, yeah, down, coming out of the dirt below here. Like that, filled it out really nicely. Here I'm coming through with the cross-hatching. This is what I was talking about earlier. Just adding some contrast to the eye sockets here, the nose, a little under the cheekbone, and then some under the caps of the mushrooms here. I wanted to use it as like a, almost like the opposite of a highlight, I guess, like a, just to darken up some stuff, to add some emphasis to it, but I didn't want to go too crazy and do a bunch of cross-hatching through the whole drawing, so I think it worked out real nicely. And here I decided to add a border. I'm doing it in the areas where there's negative space, and then not putting a border where the drawing meets the edge there. I thought that was kind of a neat little trick. If that makes sense, I think you can see what I'm talking about. Only adding the border where there isn't drawing. And then, yeah, I made it a little gloopy. Anyways, thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon. And I will see you all in the next one. All right, bye.